Hello friends, welcome back to the homestead, and I thought I'd do a quick tour video. It's about 4 or 5 weeks since the last one, just to show you kind of how spring has truly sprung, how everything's a lot greener and what's going on in the homestead, mid-planting and everything. Yeah, so as you can see, everything's a lot greener. The ground elder has continued its march to take over. We don't talk about the ground elder. If we did, we'd be here for months. Anyway, let's walk around. The wood chip road is looking really nice and settled now, as if it's been here as a permanent feature rather than sort of standing out, which I'm pleased about. Serving its purpose. Yeah. So here's our compost area, which you've seen several times. But so since the last video, I've turned this over, taken it all out, turned it over, put it back in, and that's got going again. And you can see we're already this is last year's compost, which we're already using up, which is great. I've got a load of this is bark chips that I've mulched, which we'll use around the place. And the bees are out doing stuff that bees do. I'm sure you'll hear them on the video. So this is our workshop area, which we're in the middle of. This is all going to be broken down and overhauled very soon. So we've got a new place to work outside. Just walk around to the great oak. This is our wood chipping area. Nothing's really changed around this side other than leaves on the trees, of course. So we've installed, not sure if this was here before or not. Anyway, we've installed some guttering and water bottle, 2 new water collection barrels, which has increased our capacity by another, I think it's 100 gallons, 50 gallons each, I think they are. Can't remember. Anyway, green. Rhubarb doing great. We've already been consuming that. This was the hop area. You can see the wild hops actually growing again. I'm just letting everything here. It's all been wood chipped, but the ground elder just takes through. It's so aggressive. But I'm just letting that grow a bit, and then I'm going to chop it all down. So then I can plant the beans in sort of 2-3 weeks once our frost date is passed, and that's all safe. There's our other compost area. Again, that needs turning. Last year's nearly gone. Got some new fruit trees, which we've transplanted, and some more fruit trees. Blueberries, gooseberries, white currants and red currants, I think. Yeah. So let's head down to the greenhouses. There's another bush that we've put in as well. Hugelculture's still not happened yet, but anytime soon, I think next week or so, we'll get on with that. In the meantime, I dug a charcoal cone pit and made a batch of charcoal, which I'm going to actually turn into biochar. This is the first sunny day we've had in about a week, so just letting the charcoal dry out, and then I can crush that up. But that was successful. And now we've all been planting out. Everything's a mess because of all the transplants and pots and everything. So that's one greenhouse. So let's start with Oma's greenhouse, as it's called. Oma transplanted hers out a few weeks back, following, I don't know, some moon system. And then they're not looking that great, but I'm sure they'll come round. You might have to swap out a couple. But the salads are looking great. And obviously the new thing here is that the greenhouse has been we've redone the kickboards and the path, made them slightly wider, giving a bit more space on each side, and yeah, that'll last a few more years now. That's good. And there's the new greenhouse, or our greenhouse, whatever you want to call it, which we've started planting out the tomatoes and peppers in the last week or so. And we're experimenting with compost actually this year. This side is compost from the pile just over there, which you've just seen. This side is compost from the far pile, which was the first pile you saw in this video. And then in the middle, we're going to experiment with some shop bought compost. This is an experiment really. And then down at the bottom here, this was overgrown. This little section here was overgrown with horse tail weed. Horrendous thing. Very aggressive, like the ground elder. You can see a little piece coming up here. Very deep roots, very difficult to get rid of. But as we kind of try to follow a no-dig methodology, but I didn't have any choice but to dig this over, so we thought, well, we'll leave it and just to see how the plants fend without anything, as an experiment really. So yeah, some experimenting going on. Oh, look, there's a pet choy there. More to plant out, and that'll all done the next day or so. Those mangolds, Swiss chard that we left, going to go to seed, so we'll collect some seed. That's great, and there's some strawberries flowering at the end as well, down there as well. There's all our seedlings to go out on the main field, which we'll go to in a bit. And you've got sort of what have we got there? Cabbages, curly kales, some broccoli, I think, some more cabbages and Swiss chard, some multi-sown beets. So these are kalettes, which are like kind of cross between a kale and a Brussels sprout. Some purple curly kale, cauliflowers, some gherkins. They won't grow yet. Yeah, lots going on there. So this is our no-dig permaculture area. Well, it kind of was last year, I guess. Nearly everything we're now moving to is more of a permaculture philosophy, which is really a way of life, I suppose, rather than what you do. But this last year, if you remember, we just had 2 beds, just these 2 here, which were no-dig potatoes. Then they were great. There's a separate video for that. And then last autumn we put leaf mould compost on here from the animal shed, and then planted this garlic, which is looking fantastic, and I don't know, not long away from being harvested, I guess. Yeah, so this is where the beans will go. We've already got that compost down. I planted peas in here yesterday into compost. So the run was dug out last year, but this year the plants were just left in, the roots, decomposed back into the soil, and then we just put some compost on top. So we've not dug it out anymore, just building up the soil on top. And we've got 4 more beds, no dig, roof stout method beds, which are this is all the organic material from around us, and they've all got potatoes planted in now, and I thought would start coming up very soon. We only planted them a couple of weeks back. You can see everything is just so green now and lush, although it's all ground elder and nettles, but it's all organic material. Certainly the nettles we use for making fertiliser, so that's great. Another rhubarb plant. This is our raised beds, which we used in the Growing for Life video, which I'll do an update on. Had a lot of, well, problems is not the right word, but well, certainly problems with moles, but the cat deals with those. This is kind of the kitchen garden bed, got a lot of strawberries in and some garlic which has been left in accidentally. It's a nice accident. And you can see we've started to terrace it with the birch trees. Got a little bit left to do on that. So it's something that we wanted to do for a long time, but it looks like it's going to work out. Cold frames, got a few bits and pieces in. Salads and radish. A few pak choy. Yeah. So we come up into the sort of yard area. Oma's domain. There's our tool rack made from a pallet, which is great. So Oma takes care of all the flowers, which looks great. I'm sorry, I don't know what a lot of these are, but well, there's tulips, obviously, daffs, some lots of dahlias, I think, some pansies. I need to get better with flowers, but I've really been concentrating on growing veg in the last few years. Yeah. And there's Maxis. And if we walk round, there's the oak tree that we're working through slowly. One of the wood chip paths that we made. There's the orchard that we've you can see we've trimmed back a lot of the apple trees to make them more manageable. It was a sort of 2 or 3 year project really. Can't go berserk in 1 year. But these are all fruit bushes, some of them which we've moved to be more suitable, and certainly a lot of them are cut back. So lots of black currants here. And we planted 2 new trees, one here and one over there. A Victoria plum and another type of plum tree, which I can't remember offhand what it is. So let's go over to the main field, which really is now called the market garden. I'm doing a lot of work over here, which you've seen bits and pieces of in other videos. Show you this first. So this is a strip of land that we had ploughed in addition to the market garden. We're trying to stop obviously over there it's all the ploughing stopped, but this is going to be a seed project originally, and then with the current things that are going on in the world, we thought maybe we'll just grow more food really in it and take a risk, because it's not fenced off, so anything we get out of here is a bonus really. And I think so I've done 4 beds here, same 75 centimetre width beds. Going to need a lot of weed management, but whatever really. And I've got some carrots and sorghum, I think that's how it's pronounced, black sorghum planted there. And I think the rest of it we will, this bit up here we'll cover crop and then tarp over, so that we can use it as next year as a more of a no dig type setup. There's our field, so it's all fenced off now with the birch trees. You can't probably see it on the video, but there's wire fencing around, which will I think this year the biggest problem is deer, so it will certainly stop deer. So yeah, this bed, whilst I don't know a lot about flowers, I know that we need them, we need pollinators, so I've planted lots of different flowers, asters, chrysanthemums, marigolds, there's some hemp at the end. So hopefully they'll come up during the year. Here's our peas, which I think you can see. And we've got carrots here, which have just started to come up. Yeah. Onions here. And then we've got these 1, 2, 3, 4, and probably 5, 6 beds have been. We've got a covering, plastic covering on there because previously this field only came up to here, and then this was extended. So this has got a lot of weed issues which we need to battle this year. So it's easier, I think, just in the interim to use a liner over the top, a weed barrier over the top, just for 1 year or 2 years. Putting plastic over doesn't fill me with joy, but we've got to be realistic about time and other commitments and stuff. And then we'll put the brassicas in here, and some pumpkins, squash or something. So yeah, carrots, onions, nothing at the moment. Broad beans, pig beans, depending on what part of the world you're in, maybe will come up nicely. My daughter has loved coming over here and assisting the beans escape through the earth fervently. I think so fervently to the point where one she actually broke off, but that's been her joy. And we've got the rest that we're building here. Yeah. So excited about the market garden, the way it's looking, and the way that it's finally becoming green. And this will be no dig potatoes. We need to roll this out again the next week. I've lined up a lot of jobs for the next week, haven't I? Lots of tidying up to do. So these dividing trees, some of these need thinning out. I'll just take you over to our water, look at our water system. So with the new roof and guttering, we're collecting a lot more water. We're sort of semi-manually managing it at the moment. You can see that just lets the water run away at the moment because the barrel's full. But what I've been doing is moving to this type setup where the barrel's self-managed, and then that runs away to soak away down here. And we'll install those on all the barrels as an interim, and then maybe at some point in the future we will have more of an automated system with pumps. This is the sort of park area with the lake is in the background. So yeah, that's a homestead update, and thanks for watching. I'm sorry if it's been a bit long, but lots going on at the moment. I hope you've enjoyed that, and if you do, then give us a thumbs up, subscribe for more updates, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.